Have you heard about the password guy or Kvaratskhelia? He has been incredible for Napoli this season. Nobody can stop him and Osimhen. He is so hard to stop that you can't even spell his name. Here are my attempts. Napoli are 14 points clear at the top of the table in Serie A, and the things they are doing are unforgettable. Maybe they didn't win the Champions League this season, but one thing is for certain. Napoli are on top of the world, and they have everything in their hands now. Everything seems to be fine with their star, but Kvaratskhelia almost didn't make it in football. Here is why. He was born in Tbilisi, Georgia, on 12th of February 2001. Since he was a child, he loved football and he dreamed of becoming a footballer. His father, who was a coach, didn't want to influence his decisions in life. He allowed Khvicha to choose his career path. Also, his dad never forced Kvara or his brothers to exercise for football, but they loved it so much they just couldn't stop. They were Real Madrid fans as well, and they still are until this day. Kvaratskhelia started playing football at 4 years of age. He was very hardworking, and people in his neighborhood said that he was very talented, but Kvara never listened, as he never imagined he would become one day a great footballer. When he was 11 years old, he moved to Dinamo Tbilisi. It was there that he learned the basic football skills. Also, his dream of becoming a professional footballer now took shape. When his dad saw this, he started to get involved. He taught Kvaratskhelia the essential football rules, as he was a coach. After his debut with Dinamo, he only participated in 4 games, scoring only 1 goal in that time. Khvicha transferred to Rustavi the following year for more playing time. He scored there 3 goals in 18 games, but he needed more physical development, so he went on loan at the Russian club Lokomotiv Moscow. Everyone started noticing his incredible talent, and as a result, he moved again, but this time to Rubin Kazan. In Russia, he was the kind of player who slowed down attacks or completely ended them by trying a long-range shot, basically just like your friend. But he kept working hard and he improved day by day, so much so that he was seen as the best transfer business in Rubin Kazan's history. Based on the votes among Rubin supporters, Kvaratskhelia won Player of the Month nomination 4 times in 2020 and 2021, namely in August, September, October and April. These performances earned him an international call-up to Georgia. He made his debut against Gibraltar in a Euro 2020 qualifier. Then he scored his first international goal against North Macedonia. He scored 3 times in 4 games of the first phase of the 2022 and 2023 Nations League, and topped the list of players in 2 nominations, including in the overall ranking. But then something tragic happened. Russia invaded Ukraine.
It was unprovoked, but this is what Russian President Vladimir Putin unleashed on Ukraine.
Europe is at war.
Overnight in the capital of Ukraine.
Gunfire and explosions have been heard here.
As a result, a lot of contracts from the Russian league were suspended. Moreover, Russian teams were suspended from European competitions altogether. Now, I can't speak about this subject for much longer, because YouTube might demonetize me. So that's why this video is sponsored by NordVPN. Get the cheapest deals. I'm kidding. Returning to our story, Kvaratskhelia had to go elsewhere. So he decided to come back to Georgia at FC Dinamo Batumi. In his first 11 league games, he scored 8 goals and gave 2 assists. There, he was basically the new Messi, just a little bit taller. He dribbled everybody like players were just cones. He was better than anyone at anything. Looking back, it was inevitable that a top club would come and get him. Moreover, Napoli scouted for more than 2 years as they began rebuilding their club to return to the times of Maradona. They needed to pay 11 million euros for his transfer. And they did. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Maradona had to choose from Juventus and Napoli, and he chose Napoli. It didn't take much time for him to showcase his talent in the Serie A. On his debut, he scored and assisted in a 5-2 victory against Verona, then he scored twice against Monza. With these two games, he topped up the scoring charts in the Serie A, becoming the first player in Napoli's history to score 3 goals in the opening 2 league games. Furthermore, he was named Serie A Player of the Month in August 2022. What is more impressive about this Napoli side though is that they sold their most important players: Fabian Ruiz, Mertens, Insigne and Koulibaly. So they signed Kim Min-jae, Kvara, Piotr Zelinski and Victor Osimhen. Keep in mind that these weren't proven players yet, just extremely talented. But oh boy, what a transfer story this turned out to be. Maradona wasn't only sensational in the Italian league. In the Champions League, he again scored against Ajax in a 6-1 win. He then scored again and gave an assist in the return leg. He was named Man of the Match. With 3 goals and 1 assist during February, he was named once again the Serie A Player of the Month, becoming the first player to win the award multiple times in the same season. Napoli, thanks to him and to other players, are sitting at the top of Serie A, dominating everyone that comes their way. They even beat Liverpool 4-1, Juventus 5-0, Ajax 6-1 and many other teams who were demolished by this incredible team. Maradona's importance, however, can't be denied. He is simply a bargain. Just imagine getting a player of this quality for just 11 million euros in today's market. This is incredible. Luciano Spalletti, his manager, said this about him: "He has this way of taking opponents on, and he knows where the goal is. Can shoot with his right foot or his left, but he's still getting loosened up." He is constantly being compared with Maradona, but Kvaratskhelia doesn't care. He said that he came to Napoli by himself, not to be anybody's replacement. But even with that in mind, you can't help yourself but think about Maradona when you see this guy dribble or score. Napoli are 14 points at the top of the table in the Serie A. Just imagine that a 22-year-old who came from Georgia changed the entire course of this Napoli team. Of course he didn't do it by himself, but still, what he did and does is very impressive. He's not only scoring goals, he smashes the ball into the net. Maradona only scores bangers. On one hand, he is this brilliant young player who comes to Napoli and changes everything very quickly, becoming the Serie A best player alongside Victor Osimhen. On the other hand though, he needs to be very careful with all the attention and the pressure he receives. Don't forget that he is only 22 years old. He has a lot of things to do to stay at the top for many years to come. That's the main difference between good and legendary players. They stay consistent and deliver performances day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. According to many reports, Real Madrid are very interested in signing him next season. And Kvaratskhelia is a very big Madrid fan. If he goes there, he needs to showcase that he's not only a one-season wonder, but a legendary player. Only time will give us answers to this dilemma, but until then, we just have to sit back on our couches and watch him tear apart every Serie A team this season. Maybe he will continue doing so in the Champions League. His talent is a very rare sight nowadays, and his personality even more so. Khvicha is very humble, and he doesn't like to brag about his achievements on social media or share his private life. This is not usually the case for a lot of youngsters in football, who don't care about their work ethic or club successes. Kvaratskhelia has certainly been the signing of the season. We don't know yet what the future holds for him. Maybe he will end up at Real Madrid, or maybe he will stay at Napoli to take this team to even further peaks. But one thing is for certain, his talent is unforgettable.